Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Card Review. I was going to wait until tomorrow to do this, but there are so many cards, you guys, and yeah, I don't want to do like a really long episode again. That took a lot out of me, so let's just go ahead and do one now. And there are a few cards that aren't on the website yet. I have a picture of them pulled up. Just so that I can explain them. I don't want to wait until midnight to do this, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So, let's get started! Where did we leave off on? We left off on Smolderthorn, yeah? So let's go on to the next one, which is Raiding Party, Rogue card, 3 cost, draw 2 pirates from your deck, combo, and a weapon. There aren't a whole lot of pirate cards out right now, so this card... Like, this expansion would have to go real heavy on the pirate sauce for Rogue in order for this to be worth it, to be perfectly honest. There just aren't enough. There aren't enough right now for this to be worth it. And there's not really a whole lot of good Rogue weapons right now. So, if we get some good weapons and pirates, sure. But right now, nah. Next. The Grave Horror for Priest, 12 mana, 7/8 with taunt, costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. Okay, this time it is spell you've cast this game, not mana spent on spells like last time. So how many spells would it take for this to be good? If we do 5, it's down to 7 cost. 7 cost, 7/8 with taunt, that's reasonable. So we'd want to go one more and say... 6. Yeah, make it 6 cost, 7/8 with taunt. How easy is it to cast 6 spells with Priest? Pretty darn easy. There's a lot of copy stuff right now. There's the Leper Gnome that sends the spells back to your hand when it dies. There's the weapon that every time you cast 3 spells in a single turn, you summon a dragon. If you fulfill the needs for that twice, just doing that, then you've also fulfilled the needs for this. So you could put it in that kind of a deck and it would be perfectly fine. And a 6 mana 7/8 with taunt is just good. But you do want it to be 6 cost. Like 7 cost is okay. 7 cost is like correct. So you'd want it to be 6 or less. But you could do 7. You would not play this on 8 or 9 or 10. You wouldn't do it. It's not worth it at all. Next. Untamed Beastmaster, 3 mana, 3/4. Whenever you draw a beast, give it +2/+2. Ooh, this is good. This will be good in a lot of things. It'll be good in Hunter. It'll be good in Druid. Depending on the other stuff that you do with the other classes. I mean, it's entirely possible that you could put this in the Warlock deck and make it so that you draw Hyreek and it becomes a 3. And it becomes the 3/3. And then you're like almost... that, and then that card is almost worth it. So if you have 2 of these on board and then you just like draw your deck looking for Hyreek and you manage to get him and he becomes a 5/5 with 2 of these on the board, then Hyreek is worth it. Which is an astronomically unlikely thing to happen. So but this is a good card. I like this card a lot. It's basically the Addled Grizzly, but neutral, and with better stats. And Addled Grizzly was played in a bunch of token stuff. So, like a whole Beast token Druid deck was tried to be, like, it was attempted to be made just because that card existed, and it almost worked. And this is better. So, yeah, I like it. Next. Spirit of the Tiger. 4 mana, 0/3, stealth for 1 turn. After you cast a spell, summon a tiger with stats equal to its cost. So this is the thing that's supposed to work with Shirvala. I think it's Shirvala. And to be perfectly honest, it's too expensive for 4. Like, I get why they did it for 4. They didn't want you to do some crazy shenanigan stuff. Like, you play this, and then you play some, like, 7 cost or 8 cost spell, which Paladin only has a few of anyway. So... But for 4 cost, it's just too expensive. Like, you could still pull out a little bit of shenaniganry on turn 10, you could play this, and then you hero power, and then Blessing Kings, and you summon a 4-mana thing along with your 5/5, and this has got stealth for 1 turn, so it'll be around for next turn, so you can do something even bigger. But that's not a really good turn to end play. It's too expensive. I think they tried to overcorrect this a little bit too hard. If this was costed at 2 mana, or even 3 mana, you could get away with a little bit more shenaniganry. I think this should have been 3 mana. I really do. I think it's too expensive at 4. I think that 1 mana takes this from being playable to borderline unplayable. Like, maybe there are still a few ways you could play this, but it's just not as good. That 1 mana cripples it. Next. Growl the Shark. I've been waiting for this one. I've been very curious what Growl is all about. 5 mana, rogue, legendary, battlecry, eat a minion in your deck and gain its stats. Deathrattle, add it to your hand. And it starts off as a 2/2. For 5. That's not very good. That's really not very good. Unless you can choose the minion, which I don't think you would be able to do. Nah, this is bad. Like, I get it. With the Spirit of the Shark totem, it makes that so that battle cries go off twice. I think it's battle cries go off twice, right? Let's just scroll down for half a second. And yeah, your minions' battle cries and combos trigger twice. So even then, I'm sorry, that just makes a big minion. It maybe makes a big minion. That is a big thing to remember too. If you're playing a rogue, you've got a lot of small stuff, or you've got, there aren't a whole lot of good big minions for rogue. There just aren't. That's not how they tend to work. And so, I mean, even if this hits 2 big minions that are in your deck, it just becomes a big minion. Yeah, when it dies, it will add those things to your hand, so you're basically getting a copy of 2 cards in your deck, which is nice, but that means that those 2 cards were more valuable than Growl the Shark, which just feels wrong. And to be perfectly honest, a big minion isn't bad, especially since it's costed at 5, so it's not taking up your whole turn. You could play this and eat 2 5/5s, and it becomes a 5 cost 12/12, and that's good. I'm not arguing that. It just feels bad. And it's just a big minion. There's no added trickery, no cloak and dagger, no combo, no pirate even. Like, we were going this whole pirate route with rogue all the way up until this card, and then it just doesn't do it. I'm butthurt about this. I'm butthurt about this card. It's not a bad card. It's just kind of disappointing. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm butthurt about this. I don't even care about Growl the Shark that much. I'm just unreasonably butthurt about this card for no reason. Moving on. Hakar the Soul Flayer. That's cool. I didn't expect to see him. 10 mana, 9/6, deathrattle, shuffle a Corrupted Blood into each player's deck. What is a Corrupted Blood? Well, I'm glad that I asked, because I loaded it up right over here. So a Corrupted Blood is cast when drawn, take 3 damage. After you draw, shuffle 2 copies of this into your deck. So it puts one of these in both decks. So Hakar the Soul Flayer isn't a good card, but it is a card that makes things more exciting. It adds some risk to both players' decks. So it's just for fun, I guess. It's not great. It's not even very well statted. It costs 10 mana to do this. It's a 9/6, but bleh, 9/6 is okay, but not worth 10 mana. It's like barely even worth 9 mana. It's practically an 8 mana card. And then it does this, which is not worth 2 mana. It's actually just sort of a bad thing, unless you're playing like a mill deck where you're trying to mill the opponent, Or the opponent's already run out of most of their cards and you haven't, so that they'll be more likely to draw this and stack it up. And it's very niche. It's very, very niche. But I will admit, it will make things a lot more exciting. It is definitely a card that is, okay, this is in play now. That's exciting. And if you can maneuver to burn your version, I'm pretty sure that if you draw something that casts when drawn, but you burn it, it burns, like the spiders and stuff, so that even though it casts when drawn, it burns instead of being cast if your hand is full. If you can maneuver that to happen to you, but not your opponent, then it's just plain good. But the chances of like maneuvering that, you'd basically have to mill yourself in order to even attempt to do that, which is not great. Not a good idea at all. So yeah, this is just a for fun card. This is a meme card. It's gotta be. There's nothing about this that can be made to be good. It is a time waster card. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that existing. And to be perfectly honest, a card that's Soul Player, it fits the theme. It really does with his lore. So I'm alright with it. But it's definitely a meme. Next. The Zandalari Templar, 4 mana, 4/4 battle cry. If you've restored 10 health this game, gain +4/+4 and taunt. There are not a whole lot of heal paladin synergy type of cards. There are a few. Don't get me wrong. We were given a few, and we were asked for more because there wasn't enough to make a deck. This by itself is not going to do it. But, that being said, a 4 mana 8/8 with Taunt is pretty darn good if you can manage to heal yourself by 10 this game. How easy is that to do for Paladin? It's pretty darn hard, actually. There are the Djinns that can heal you by 3 health each turn. And that goes in with the Soul Stone or whatever it's called, the item. I forget what it's called because nobody ever uses the darn thing. But you know what I'm talking about. The Spellstone. There you go. And that's... like, there's also that 8 mana spell that heals 8 health and draws 3 cards. I think Paladin does have a few just, like, straight up heals that never get played because they're a little bit too expensive. I know that Lifesteal counts for this, and there are a few good Lifesteal Paladin cards, like the Chillblade Gnome. I forget what he's called, but that's a good one. So it's not impossible, but a heal Paladin, there just aren't enough cards yet for it to be made good, and this is not enough. It is a good start, don't get me wrong. A 4 mana 8/8 with Taunt is a really good card to have in a heal Paladin deck, but it's not enough to make a heal Paladin deck. It needs more. Next, Warmaster Voon. 4 mana, 4/3, Warrior Legendary. We're finally getting some more Warrior cards. Holy crap. Battle Cry. Copy all dragons in your hand. Now, this is cool. I like this. It's low cost. It is not great stat-wise, but it's not absolutely abysmal. It's just like maybe 1 mana too expensive. And then it has the copy all dragons in your hand. Now, how good is that? If we're making a Dragon Warrior deck, it's pretty darn good. Even the Smolderthorn Lancer becomes more worth it if you can create more copies of it, because then that's more copies of an Execute. And it will make it proc itself, because let's look over here at Smolderthorn Lancer. I remember I said, I was like, it's just an Execute, blah, 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 blah. But if you copy it with Warmaster Voon, it is a 3 mana 3/2 that also destroys a damaged minion. But if you've got 2 of them, then not only is it an Execute, but it also procs itself. Because, oh wait, it's not a dragon! Oh, I didn't see that before. It's not a dragon. It doesn't proc itself. Never mind, it's still shit. Never mind. It's still just a 3 mana 3/2 with an Execute. Never mind. Still this though. This is pretty good. if we get some dragons, if we get a few dragons, we need a few dragons. We need 2 playable dragons. Hopefully one of them is actually good and not just playable. But 2 playable dragons minimum that are warrior only. Plus 1 that is maybe toss it for something else. So 3. If we get 3 dragons and 2 of them are playable, that are warrior exclusive this expansion, then I think there's a chance. Because there's still a lot of good dragons out there. A lot of the good dragons are in basic and common and classic. Well, they're not common, but they're in basic and classic. So, yeah. There's plenty of dragon cards that will always be usable, but we need some warrior-specific dragons and maybe a couple of buffs or spells or something that relate to dragons as well. That would be nice. There aren't any for warrior. Warrior does not have a lot of spells that have anything to do with dragons. Ever. And we need some. So, yeah. I think if they go hard on the sauce with this warrior dragon thing, I think it'll work. Especially with Warmaster Voon. Warmaster Voon will be a must-have card for a dragon warrior deck because it copies the cards in your hand, which are pretty darn... It's good. It basically doubles you up. It's just plain good. Without dragons, you wouldn't play this card. Simple as that. Next. Fire Tree Witch Doctor. Neutral card, 2 mana, 2/2 Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a spell. Hey, look, Dragon's Energy. And it's a neutral, so you can put it in Dragon Priest as well. Which is good, which is fine. There are also plenty of dragons that you just put into a deck anyway, like the Cobalt Scalebane. So, if you've got a Cobalt Scalebane, might as well go ahead and put one of these in there too, because you'll discover a spell. And most classes have at least one spell that you would like, so it's probably worth the gamble there. And 2 mana 2/2 is just plain fine. Like it's not good, it's not bad, it's just adequate. But being able to discover a spell is good. So yeah, the more dragons in your deck, the more worth it this card is. All right, and that's all that's on the website. But there's one more card, and that is the Gurubashi Hype Man for Rogue. 7 mana, 5/7 Battlecry. Discover a 1/1 copy of a Battlecry minion. It costs 1. I have no idea how good this is because there are a whole lot of Battlecry minions. And to count them all up and figure out what are the odds of discovering 3 bad ones, it takes a more patient and smarter man than me to do this. So let's just look at the base stats. It's a 7 mana 5/7 that allows you to discover a 1-cost minion. How good is that? It's fine. It's not amazing. I suppose it would majorly depend on the battle cry of the minion that is discovered. Which means that all of this thing's worth is placed entirely on randomness. Which I like. Which I'm a fan of. But I know from experience means that this is probably a bad card. Although I will say, 7 mana 5/7... Rogue does need some bigger good minions. I was talking about that before. So, I mean, maybe some people will experiment with this. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. A Battlecry Rogue does seem neat. Hey, if you're putting the Shark in there, you put 2 of those, and that's a 5 mana 12/14, I think it is. Which is pretty alright for that card. Maybe? Probably? I don't know. This is a card I do not know. Straight up question mark. Don't know. I don't know Rogue at all. Anyway, so that's it. I didn't check. Was that a pirate? Nope, not a pirate. So this card's still useless. Alright, so that was that. Goodbye, everybody. I hope you guys disagree with me with Growl. I'm just sort of butthurt about it. I don't think it's a bad card. I'm just sort of butthurt about it. So, yeah. All right, goodbye. Goodbye.